from the Busch Light Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo! Oh, yeah.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Because this is a proud damn state.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
You can actually feel Razorback Stadium shaking underneath our feet right now.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Stick this one in the electrical socket, folks. The Razorbacks have shocked the world. Arkansas defeats UConn.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
Halftime today is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings in Fort Smith, Conway, Little Rock, Sherwood, and Jonesboro.
Buffalo Wild Wings, roar!
Hey, hold on, it's almost halftime.
Wait for all of this snow to finally melt and we can begin our lives all over again. Pandemic and everything. Nice to be with you. A Thursday here on Halftime. Got a full show, lots of baseball talk. Dave Van Horn right now is speaking with Arkansas media members on a Zoom. We have a weekend rotation announced for Saturday, Sunday, Monday in the State Farm College Classic at the home of the Texas Rangers. We have, well, maybe at some point during the show we'll be able to break a little news Smackdown.
Oh,
love to do that so much because I'm hoping at some point today that there will be an announcement that there will be a women's basketball game tomorrow night at Bud Walton Arena. I think that's the time that Arkansas would like to play Ole Miss. I think it's really a matter of if the Rebels can still make it here.
So Mike Neighbors didn't schedule like Team USA or nothing like that.
That would be the next
Stanford
step up, right?
Yeah,
that would be, or schedule the New York Liberty or something.
Right?
Like
Yeah, something like that.
I think they want to play tomorrow night. It's again the roads in Arkansas still are as such on the eastern side of the state that it's still going to be pretty difficult, I think, to travel right now. But hopefully, be able to clear those roads, get the Rebels out here for a game tomorrow night, get the baseball team out to Texas on Saturday, get A&M in here on Saturday for their first game in like 3 weeks. Gosh, I mean, Arkansas beats Florida. It had been 2 weeks since the Gators had played. Now you're getting an Aggies team that hasn't played in 3 weeks because of COVID-related health problems and the freezing temperatures and snow and ice that paralyzed the entire state of Texas. The Aggies were supposed to play tonight. That game obviously not happening. A basketball-less night in the SEC, though I do think there's one women's game that will be played. Anyway, it is good to be with you on this Thursday on Halftime. We've got Bob Holt joining us at 11:30. We have Ted Cahill from Baseball America at 12:30. So we'll dig into college baseball quite a bit with Teddy. Dave Van Horn announced, I guess it's not really an announcement, just told the media on the Zoom presser about 40 minutes ago that the weekend rotation for this weekend at least, I think that it's probably not a correct viewpoint to say, well, the rotation this weekend is going to be the same rotation next weekend. That could change. Plus, you have a 4-game series against Southeastern Missouri Thursday starting next week. So I guess it would be a big surprise if you get the same starter for Game 1 this weekend to pitch Game 1 Thursday next week. Wouldn't have the necessarily amount of time. But the starter on Saturday is going to be Peyton Pallette. Hard-throwing right-hander, redshirt freshman, did get into 3 or 4 games last year in relief, and we've talked a lot about Pallette. Big high 90s fastball, nice curveball, mixing in a changeup. Then you'll have Zebulon Vermillion on Sunday against Texas. That'll be exciting for Zeb. Be his first start at Arkansas. And then Lyle Lockhart, the left-hand, I was going to call him a senior. I think he's a graduate more than anything, a graduate transfer from Houston, will pitch against Texas Christian on Monday. So, and also Caden Wallace will be the only freshman that starts the first game, at least, of the season. He's going to be the right fielder for the Razorbacks, the freshman out of Greenbrier. So really, I think those were the questions we had SmackDown heading into this weekend about the baseball team, and now Dave answered those questions. Now my question, and we got into it with Clay yesterday. Pitchability for these kids, the big if question, if there's command, if they can throw strikes, and if they're able to make it through some really tough lineups, and that'll be certainly one thing to pay attention to, because you haven't seen Arkansas play against this sort of top-level competition for the first weekend of the season ever, maybe. I don't know. You have to look back on all the media guides and see, like, the last time you had really, these three teams, Texas Tech, TCU, these are all contenders for Omaha year in, year out. So it's big tests for Peyton, for Zeb, and for Lyle. And, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But
you'll find out.
You'll find to know out, a couple of days away who's going to be pitching.
But that definitely helps, and it kind of gives those guys the confidence to kind of like, all right, let's get this thing moving and get rolling with it. But also, you're going to find out real quick what these three are made of. I think we know what Zeb will bring to the mound, but now you get to see the two newcomers in Paulette and Lockhart. What are they going to bring to the mound, and being arguably probably fighting right now, or just kind of seeing how they go to be the Friday, Saturday, Sunday starters for this baseball team. I think the interesting note, and I think a lot of you fans listening out there, no Connor Nolan in this weekend rotation. I'm sure you will see, and you could speak more to this than anything just because you're there with it more. Kind of surprised you didn't see Connor Nolan get the nod just to the start, just based off being one of the returning guys. But I don't think it's too far to the question that you'll see him out there at some point this weekend, right? Or do you think we won't see him?
Oh, I think he'll pitch in relief. Dave's already said, like, he views right now Nolan could end up getting back into the rotation, but right now I think he's going to be more of a long reliever. And look, that's a really important role to
absolutely
fill early in the season when these pitchers don't have their innings and pitch count built up to where that'll be in a month or 2 months. I'm not surprised that Nolan is not in this weekend's rotation, and I would imagine he's not surprised either. He did not have a very good fall. Looks like he might have started throwing a little better in January and now into this part of the season. But, it just looks like, at least for the first weekend, like he's been passed up. But it's not just Connor Nolan, right? Patrick Wicklander also is not starting this weekend. Those were two of the guys that were weekend starters last year.
Right.
That we don't know what would have happened going into the SEC season, because it was just before the conference schedule began that the pandemic shut things down. But Nolan had bounced up and down, Wicklander too, and so both of them, I think, are going to be working at least in long relief early in the season. And I think that's also one of the reasons why Arkansas is picked third by the coaches in the SEC West. Like, you have a great lineup, you have a lot of talent on the pitching staff, but there were more unknowns about, like, who are the starters. Can they fill those roles? Zebulon Vermillion has never been a starter before. Peyton Paulette has never been a starter before. These are different roles. I know it's just about throwing pitches and getting outs, right? But it's completely different roles, and it's not that they can't do it. I think they most definitely can. They wouldn't be given these games this weekend by Dave and Matt if they didn't figure that they could handle getting through those lineups at least a couple of times.
Do you think this is obviously we haven't seen any action yet from these guys, but on paper, do you think this could be the rotation that would work for weekend rotations, or how would, if you're Dave Van Horn, if you're the head manager, the head coach, is this the rotation you would have went with, or would you make some changes to it?
I like it. I haven't watched enough of them up close in the scrimmage season to warrant a guess as to whether or not they're ready for it. But I'll tell you what, the stuff. If it's about stuff, all those two right-handers have big-time fastball. Vermillion and Paulette, mid to high 90s. Vermillion, I think, is going to be a really good starter. I know Bubba said he thought he'd be a better closer, but I love the idea of Vermillion being able to stretch things out with his height and how high he throws the ball. You get two right-handers that have this great stuff like them, and then follow that up with more of a crafty left-hander in Lyle Lockhart, though I don't think he's any soft tosser, or anything like that. I think it's a different look than you're going to see from the other pitchers over a weekend in which you're facing the same team. So maybe a little different this weekend because you're not facing the same team. But I like the makeup of this weekend 1 rotation. And again, I don't think this is what the rotation will look like week 2 or maybe even weekend 3 because there are a lot of options to start games. A lot of options to start games. And there could be some mixing and matching, so we'll see. 877-377-6963 to get with us on halftime over the next hour and 50 minutes. We got a lot coming up. Basketball, Major League Baseball news. Saw Heston Kjerstad was invited to Baltimore Major League spring training, but it's going to be a little bit until he reports Heston was diagnosed with myocarditis. He is doing well, though. A lot better than I think he was the last couple of months. All right, halftime back after this.
Hunter Yurchek with us here on the Morning Rush.
Central Arkansas has been the home of the Razorbacks for 75-plus years. I mean, we still have a presence there. Those games are important because our presence across this state as the flagship institution for the state is important. And so it's just not about Northwest Arkansas. We represent the entire state, and our presence in Central Arkansas is still important to very many people across this state.
Weekdays from 6 till 9, only on ESPN 95.3.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This is Pastor Heath from Woodland. I know some of these ads make you glad, but most probably make you mad. The reason is people believe the lie that heals is better than the truth that hurts. Our purpose at Woodland is to risk the hurt by exposing the lies so you can be wise unto salvation. If you'd like to know more, check out our website, woodlandpeople.church. There you can download our app and listen to our podcast. That's woodlandpeople.church.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This is Pastor Heath from Woodland. I know some of these ads make you glad, but most probably make you mad. The reason is people believe the lie that heals is better than the truth that hurts. Our purpose at Woodland is to risk the hurt by exposing the lies so you can be wise unto salvation. If you'd like to know more, check out our website, woodlandpeople.church. There you can download our app and listen to our podcast. That's woodlandpeople.church.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Devontae Davis drops it into Jalen Tate. Tied at 75. Backdoor lob, and there's Justin Smith. Smith with the slam.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins.
Every SEC team to a current country music artist. Why is Arkansas Blake Shelton?
Who knows breakups like Blake Shelton at Arkansas?
Blake. Whoa. Have a smart speaker? Just say play ESPN Arkansas to listen to Halftime anywhere you go.
ESPN Arkansas from TuneIn.
877-377-6963. Ryan in Prairie Grove thought that maybe Connor Nolan could be a closer. I don't think that's the role that they'll put him in. I think they'll use Connor more as a long reliever, which will also give him the opportunity to get back into the rotation at some point. I think he's better as a starter than as a reliever, and look, long relief can be just as important of a role as a starting pitcher can be. So
how important is it to have like a Matt Cronin on your team, to have like the closer in the ninth inning one way or another? Is it that important to have, or can you do it by committee, kind of like you were talking about with a long reliever, and have like your rotation of 2 or 3 guys that go into the 8th or 9th?
You know, I think there's two prevailing opposite ways of thinking here. You know, there's been statistical research done and shows some evidence that, you know, almost anybody can be a closer, that the 3 outs of the 9th inning aren't necessarily any different than 3 outs in any other inning. But then you ask a lot of managers, head coaches, and they'll tell you they want the dude to go out there to shut things down in the 9th inning. And really, it isn't necessarily – you have to have somebody that you can count on to end a potential rally by a team, you know, no matter what inning it is. If it's the 6th inning, if it's the 7th inning, you got to have somebody you can go to, whether it's your quote-unquote closer or a role that I like to use for some pitchers that don't close games, a stopper that stops the opponent from getting things going before the 9th inning, because that 9th inning, we focus on it as the end of the game, but so often that's not where games are won and lost. Those games are won and lost 6th inning, 7th inning, 8th inning. So you got to have somebody that can get those outs in that inning. I think there are pitchers on this team, Matt, to be dudes just like that.
Right.
I'm not exactly sure how it's going to play out. I think Dave is the kind of game manager that likes to have a guy he can go to get the last out or so, and he will use him in the 8th inning. You know, he used Matt Cronin in the 8th inning every once in a while and would bring him back out for the 9th inning. So but that's the thing. Like, we don't know who that is right now. I don't think we knew who it was necessarily going into last season either. There was talk it would be Vermillion. You know, I don't really think he got many opportunities. So, and this weekend, like, it's pretty rare in the first weekend of a college baseball season, Matt, to be worried about, like, who's going to close games for you. Because, I mean, I've seen Arkansas win, like, 33-3 against Bucknell the opening weekend of the season. They really haven't played, like, very good teams for that first weekend. You're playing 3 really good teams this weekend. So I would imagine that if there's a couple of wins in there this weekend, there's also a couple of saves in there too. So I'm really interested to see who Dave and Matt go to in that situation. By the way, for those who are not planning on going to Texas for the weekend baseball series, you can watch the games on Flow Sports, which has also done a lot of basketball, and you know, they were streaming some of the summer collegiate baseball leagues. I've read where, you know, some reviews of this streaming service that it's not the best. You will be able to see the things you want to see,
but they can't see you. They can't hear you.
Well, you can't see me.
You paint such a great mental picture that I just turn the TV off and listen.
Well, you can listen, of course, although I don't think we air Saturday's baseball game because it goes up against the 7:30 tip-off against Texas A&M. Basketball takes precedence on the radio network.
If we didn't have like a legal obligation to carry one over the other, I would pick baseball.
Well, I don't even know who the announcers are for the Flow Sports thing, but I'm sure. Well, it is a Major League Baseball park, so there will be beer available in the stands.
Yes.
You know, been a long time since I last dusted off a cold one in the radio booth. I did that a couple of morning games, like 16, 17, 18 years ago at Ray Winder Field. And I used to think if you're going to wait, if we're playing baseball in the morning, like at 10:30 in the morning, and we played at 7:30 the night before, I might have a beer during the game.
You're just keeping it going from the night before.
So apparently some people think that Joe Buck gets drunk on the air.
So I saw we talked about this on the day that your internet went out. So we brought this up. Have you heard the audio clip of him talking about this?
I did. I read the story about it, and I mean, he didn't say that he sits there and drinks during games. You know, he was really just. I think he was just trying to make the point that early in his career, could you imagine the nerves that Joe Buck must have felt?
Can only imagine.
I mean, he got that job with Fox in his early 30s, or what is it, even his late 20s? I mean, the guy did a couple of years of minor league baseball at AAA, but that was it. And then all of a sudden, whoosh, to the Cardinals and to Fox, he had to have felt incredible nerves. And, I mean, one way to calm nerves is a drink, not drinks, like one, right?
So where's the line at? It's got to be different from everybody, you know, where you're like, okay, I'm having a drink to loosen up, and then, oh, wait, now I'm drunk.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say with all certainty, it's like, yeah, I've drank on the air, but I was never drunk, you know?
Probably when you start slurring your speech and you notice
that's official. It's like
that's
the slur.
When you're issuing an apology on the air.
And do you recognize it, or do other people tell you that you're slurring your speech? He's like, I'm not even drunk here.
I'm pretty sure. I'm like 99.9% sure that I've never been drunk on the radio. I can't say that for like everybody in sports broadcasting. There have been even certain instances recently where, you know, somebody lost their job because they showed up at a radio show drunk. You know, that's not what Buck was doing. I think he was just really nervous and tried to remind himself that it's just a sports broadcast. It is not life or death. And what you want to have, I think, the feeling on any sports broadcast, and I hope that Bubba and I, you know, deliver that a little bit. I think we do this on this show too, is to not make it seem like you feel pressure to entertain or to, you know, say something intelligent or anything like that. It's just to chill. We're watching a game. Let's talk about the game that's right in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, you know, Coward was just paying him a compliment, SmackDown, that he loves the vibe that Buck has always brought to the booth. And you can sense that with him and with John Smoltz. And he even had that with McCarver, though I don't think quite as much with McCarver as he does with Smoltz. And that, you know, that real loose feeling with him and Aikman, it's evident. And he doesn't need the drink any longer to do it. I think he was just sort of, you know, just telling people, this is what I used to do to remind myself to hang loose, be loose. And then there were some, you know, journalistic, quote-unquote journalistic outlets that took that and then write a headline that says, Joe Buck gets drunk on the radio or gets drunk on television.
But there may be, kind of bringing it up with that scenario, one thing we didn't even bring up yesterday, and I'll tie it in with Joe Buck as well in this scenario. Do you remember what happened a year ago yesterday, excuse me.
What was it?
It was when SmackDown came. SmackDown's first show.
You didn't mention it yesterday?
It's smooth past my memory because on my Facebook memories today, a year ago today, we were at Whole Hog Cafe.
I knew we were close.
So, but I say that to bring it into this conversation. I was a nervous wreck for that first 2 weeks.
Did you show up? Did you have a drink on the show?
But damn it, I wish I would have. I wish I'd have had a little, like a gin and tonic or a.
He did go out and smoke a doobie in the parking lot.
I did. I did that on the third day.
Well, I can
Matty
tell
T yelled at me, and I got scared and cried a little bit.
I can tell you're not nervous any longer because you stopped calling me sir a while back.
Yeah,
and that was the sign for me that I
didn't even like when me and you had our first conversation together. I was sitting in school, and I'm always a sir guy. That's just the way it's the way I was raised. Yes sir, yes
People
ma'am.
should call you sir.
And I called Phil, and he said, "Hey Phil, this is Matt."
He said, "Sir's my dad."
He said,
actually,
Matt,
my dad is Doc. You can't
oh, that's
call
right.
him Mr.
Yeah, it's Dad MD.
He said,
things right.
Phil said, Matt, are you ready to go tomorrow? And I said, yes, sir. And he said, don't call me sir. We didn't even talk for 30 seconds, and I said, yes, sir, and then that was it.
I mean, Phil was like, this is not going to work unless you knock that off.
We're pretty
You're
much.
going to have to stop calling me sir, please.
Yeah,
but you're right.
Really,
I mean,
you do not have to treat me with any respect whatsoever.
But I think you're right. It's kind of
sir.
similar with Joe Buck and Aikman. I mean, between us three, it's casual, it's relaxed, we have a good time. Nothing's pressured.
Yeah, and thanks for reminding me way after the fact that today is the 1-year SmackDown anniversary, man. That is worth celebrating.
Well, I think
sure
technically, this is like just the 1 year of me working here. We need to go back in our tweets of when SmackDown was born, which wasn't too far after that.
Because today, if it was a year ago today, it was that I realized it's like, hold on a moment. We can't have a radio show with Phil and two Matts.
Yeah, it was right around there.
This was pre-SmackDown. This was like the genesis of SmackDown. It's where it started to come from, where you realize, gosh, there's one Matt. He's been here longer than the big Matt. We got to figure out something else. Bob Holt's with us next.
Yo, the college basketball season is heating up, and I'm telling you that we need to turn our attention to the Wendy's Wooden Watch. Now, in 2002, I was honored to receive the John R. Wooden Player of the Year Award, which is presented to the country's most outstanding men's and women's player, who is also making progress towards earning a degree. That's very important. This year, players like Luka Garza, Cade Cunningham, Rhyme Howard, and Aaliyah Boston are all vying for the trophy. So who will take it home? The 2021 John R. Wooden Men's and Women's Player of the Year is presented by Wendy's.
Wendy's new classic chicken sandwich is now in the 2 for $5, and that's reason to celebrate. Try the new classic and then take your mouth on a victory lap with the iconic Dave's Single, the delicious spicy chicken sandwich, spicy or crispy 10-piece nuggets, or just get another classic chicken sandwich. Taste greatness today with Wendy's 2 for $5. We got you.
For a limited time, a la carte only. Price and participation may vary. U.S. Wendy's.
Are you concerned about possible COVID exposure for you or your employees? Fort Smith has a new option for PCR COVID testing that is fast and accurate. Natural State Laboratories out of Little Rock has opened a PCR COVID drive-thru location in Fort Smith at Community Bible Church. PCR testing is the most sensitive, accurate test available, and results are available the next day. No appointment is necessary. Convenient COVID PCR drive-thru testing in Fort Smith is open 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Friday at Community Bible Church, located at 9201 Dallas Street.
If you're looking for an all-you-can-eat destination, head to the Catfish Kitchen in Van Buren. Now serving family-style all-you-can-eat dinner. Catfish, chicken tenders, fried shrimp, fries, and all the fixins. All you can eat for only $22.95. At Crab Legs for just $20 more. They still have the 2- and 4-piece dinners available. Head to the Catfish Kitchen in Van Buren. Now open Thursday through Saturday, 11 till 8. Sundays, 11 till 3. The Catfish Kitchen at the top of Logtown Hill, across from the police station in Van Buren.
Getting your ride ready for warmer weather? Come see the guys at Advanced Mechanical Performance. Whether it's a lift kit, service specials, accessories, or a complete makeover of your machine, Cody and the gang can get you hooked up and running for the upcoming season. Advanced Mechanical Performance works on all trucks, Jeeps, or UTVs, from diesel engine performance and repair to custom off-road fabrication. See the gang at 3201 Wheeler Avenue today. Advanced Mechanical Performance is what you should be striving for.
2021 annual passes are available starting January 1st at the Ben Guerin Golf Course. We offer a variety of plans to fit your budget and needs. We have special pricing on annual passes for juniors, seniors, veterans, and active military. Annual passes are also available at the new Ben Guerin Community Complex, located across the street from the golf course. An unlimited driving range plan is also available, which includes both facilities. Book your 2021 tournament outings now at the Ben Guerin Golf Course.
Bills, kids, school, toilet paper. Who is buying all the canned chickpeas? Delayed shipments, masks, pandemic, elections. You're on mute. Riots, air fryers, test results, streaming services, the playoffs, unfriended. You can turn it all off, you know, at least for a while. The rhythmic sound of your feet on the pavement, the sun peeking through the clouds on a quiet morning. Let us show you how to leave it all behind. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Hertz Car Sales has been serving the River Valley for over 40 years and takes pride in offering exceptional service. Whether you're looking for a car, truck, crossover, or SUV, Hertz offers a big selection of the most popular brands. They're friendly, offer a no-pressure car shopping experience, and their vehicles are high quality and priced competitively. New inventory is arriving daily and trade-ins are always welcome. So make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard, give them a call at 783-1722, or check out their line of quality pre-owned vehicles at buyfromhertz.com.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing. Who in this party's off the hook?
Keep winning with the latest download of the Halftime Podcast presented by Jeff's Clubhouse. And keep up with everything happening in Razorback Land at hitthatline.com. It'll make you feel good.
I feel fantastic.
Like goat good.
I'm going to prove I'm the greatest. We're going to prove to the world I'm the greatest.
Of course he's the GOAT. May not be the boat. The best of all time.
I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. I'm going to eat some raw meat, and I'm going to train. I'm going to get ready and chop some more trees.
Greatest coach in the history of college football.
He is the GOAT, clearly.
There's no one can stop me. I'm the best ever. Today, I'm the greatest of all time. Thank you.
Bob Holt with us from the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. And, Bob, you and I grew up in weather that's just like this, so I know it's been a long time since you dealt with anything like this, and maybe never. So, you know, has this just felt like another winter from your childhood, or is this the sort of thing where you look out your window and say, yeah, I don't want this anymore?
Yeah, you know, I was born in Michigan and lived in Wisconsin for a while, but I grew up mostly in Missouri. But, yeah, I remember being a kid in Wisconsin and Michigan, how much it snowed. We never missed school. You know, we'd see it snowing the night before, and we'd get all excited, and then the next day the roads would be clear. We'd still have to go to school. But, yeah, I mean, I think it was 19 below Monday night. I'm not sure I've ever experienced anything like that. I remember going up to Alaska, and I think it was late November back in, like, the late 90s. Arkansas played in Fairbanks, and I think it was called the Top of the World Classic. And I remember flying in, and it was before Uber and stuff. I was taking a cab to the hotel. I sure wasn't going to get a rent-a-car and drive around Fairbanks. And they had one of those digital thermometers at the airport, and this was pretty late at night, and it said 0. And I remember thinking, I said something to the cab driver about how cold it was. He goes, this is really balmy. You should have been here last week. It was minus 30. So, I mean, for it to be minus 19, minus 20 in Arkansas, I mean, that's pretty crazy, you know. So, you know, I guess it's in the 20s today, and then, you know, obviously that's a lot better, and hopefully we can get warmer and back to normal here pretty quick.
You know, and I think that this Arkansas men's basketball team, and maybe the women's team too, though, it's a little different in the way that the two head coaches were portrayed on social media with the snow. You know, Mike falls down, and that gets tweeted out, and everybody has fun with that. And Eric Musselman leads a sledding ice capade around Bud Walton Arena. I don't know if I could see any of the other coaches in the SEC sledding with their players. But it just seems that's right in Muss's wheelhouse, man.
Yeah, I guess if I understood correctly, I think Mike Neighbors tweeted out that was him that tweeted out that video. That wasn't like, you know, I don't know, somebody. I think that was from the security camera at his house. So I guess that was maybe twofold. One, a reminder to people, hey, you know, be careful out there because, you know, it may not look that bad, but it can be pretty slick. And thankfully, Mike wasn't hurt. And maybe he was just kind of poking, you know, kind of having some fun at his own expense. But, yeah, Eric, he never misses a chance to have some fun with social media and interact with the fans and the students. You know, that a lot of people couldn't get out to the game the other night. But I know that a lot of students were there, and when you saw Eric go, and he didn't like jump in the student section like maybe he would have been able to do in past years, but he was over there, you know, thanking them, acknowledging them. I think he really connects. Well, he connects with everybody, but I think he really connects with the students and realizes how important, you know, they can be, especially at a time like this when you can't have, you know, anywhere near full capacity. But yeah, Eric's just a people person. He's very social, you know, whether you're talking to him or doing social media, and I think he gets it. He's having a lot of fun. I think he also realizes even if you're winning like Arkansas is, you need to market your product out there.
That's a good way to put it there, Bob, is to market the product. And I think Eric, aside from being, you know, a people person, is very media friendly, and I don't say that in like a that he's an attention seeker or anything. Though I do think he likes to have some of that spotlight on him. But you got to win games, and they're winning games, lots of them. Wins in 7 of 8, 7 straight SEC wins, and it feels like as Arkansas has gotten into the polls now, you're seeing a lot more national exposure from some of the big analysts across the country that are taking notice of this Arkansas basketball team. And part of it isn't just that they're winning games, it's the way they're winning games. They play a fun brand of basketball, and it is the kind of team right now, Bob, that feels like there might be some other basketball fans across the country that are jumping on the bandwagon a bit.
Yeah, I mean they're winning in exciting ways, and so these games are going down to the wire. Even the other night, if you just saw that score and had watched the game, you think, okay, Arkansas beat Florida by 11, but we know that was with less than 5 minutes to play, Florida had taken the lead. And Arkansas had a big closeout, 14-2 run, but and they hung on or held off Florida by really shooting well at the free throw line, hitting 10 of 12 there in the last 136. And Kentucky, I mean, it's obviously not a typical Kentucky team, but they still have a lot of talent. And Kentucky, that was probably one of the best games they played when Arkansas went in there, and Arkansas lost the lead but found a way to recover and win the game. The Missouri game went overtime. The Auburn win where they were down 19 came back, and then it looked like Auburn might win at the end, and they got a defensive stop. And they're winning. They're playing an exciting brand of basketball. And like the best marketing is winning. But in this day and age, when there's so many other entertainment options on there and every game is on TV, I think you still got to do some things to try to stand out, which I think Eric gets that.
Bob Holt joining us here on Halftime. Bob, one last basketball question, then we'll ask you a couple things about the Razorback baseball team and this press conference just came across. The one thing that I've really taken from this basketball team, and you've seen it these past 3 games with Kentucky, Missouri, and then you saw it again against Florida, it's free throw shooting. But the biggest thing that I'm taking away, Bob, this team is learning how to finish at the end of game situations. And while it may not be the prettiest of times, they're still figuring out a way to ice the game, win the ball game, and that'll prove big things as we move later on into this SEC schedule and heading into the tournament.
Well, yeah, and they're doing what it takes to win, whether it's hitting free throws,
right?
Getting defensive stops, getting rebounds. You think about the Kentucky game. Kentucky, Arkansas, I think had been up by 12, and then Kentucky, rallies and they're shooting, threes out of their minds. It was a smart strategy by Arkansas to let Kentucky take those threes, but Kentucky was burning them. And then Devo Davis, Eric Musselman trusts his true freshman to take the ball, to the basket, and he doesn't make the shot, but he gets a shot up, and then Jalen Tate's able to get a rebound, then get fouled, and then hit free throws, and then Devo gets the steal at the end. But a lot of things have to happen for them to win that game, whether it's on offense or defense, and free throws. And so they're just doing a lot of good things. They got the big thing with Florida. They hit their free throws. They also got stops, at the end. So, and they got stops. Xavier Pinson is a really good 3-point shooter. Had a 3 when it was a 3-point game in overtime in the final seconds at Missouri, but Davis got out there on him, made him take a real tough shot. I think he partially blocked it. So they're doing things on both ends to win these tight games for sure.
And also, Bob, we just got done, or actually I said you just got off the Zoom press conference with Dave Van Horn previewing the weekend baseball series down in Arlington, Texas at the Texas Rangers ballpark. Outside of the pitching rotation, which we've been speaking about quite a bit with Peyton Paulette leading things off on Saturday afternoon or Saturday night, what else did you learn from DVH and this Zoom press conference that just concluded?
Actually, Zebulon Vermillion's going to start the first game against Texas Tech, which got moved from Friday to Saturday. And Paulette's going to start Sunday against Texas. And then Lyle Lockhart, the transfer from Houston, is going to start Monday against TCU. But the big thing we learned is that they're still planning to play. I mean, obviously, I don't know if Texas has been declared a disaster area, but obviously people down there are really, are hurting because they don't have power, they don't have water. The groceries aren't stocked. I don't think are very well stocked. I mean, it's really, a disaster down there in a lot of ways. And so you wonder, well, gosh, are they going to be able to play this tournament? But Dave Van Horn said something could change. But as of right now, they've been told, everything's okay at the stadium. I guess the hotels, the teams are going to stay up, must be okay. So to me, the big news was they're still planning to play. And then I think, we got the pitching rotation. And it's kind of interesting because, Connor Nolan and Patrick Wicklander were guys that started as freshmen, once the SEC got going, and then they were scheduled to be in the rotation right before the SEC opening series in Mississippi State got canceled and the rest of the season got canceled. So to me, that's interesting. It speaks to the depth and the development of some of these pitchers. That doesn't mean Nolan and Wicklander won't get back in the weekend rotation, but to me, that was a pretty interesting development that we kind of had seen coming, I think, with what had been going on. But and we know Matt Goodhart's maybe be able to play some first. He's going to start off as a DH, but he's had the shoulder injury he's been dealing with. He had surgery, but he said he's having to play some defense too. But the main thing is he's penciled in that 3-hole spot and as a DH, and he's obviously a premium hitter for him.
Dave, say anything about who will be at first base? We've heard a lot about potentially Cullen Smith being over there, or Brady Slayton.
Yeah, Dave mentioned all those guys as well as Goodhart. He indicated Goodhart could play some first. I think Cullen Smith would probably be the first guy, but I guess we don't know for sure. And then I think the rest of the defense is pretty well set. I think it'd probably be, same group of guys. Obviously, Jalen Battles would be the new shortstop, taking over for Casey Martin. He's gotten rave reviews. He's a big, rangy guy. And everybody talks about their defense up the middle with Opitz and, Morris second, Battle at shortstop, Jalen Battle at shortstop, and then, Franklin is, a great center fielder, and he's getting a lot of preseason All-American attention, going to be a high draft pick by all accounts. So they just look like they're really loaded. I mean, it's a lot of depth, and a lot of teams are loaded because the way the draft was, they're getting guys back they didn't expect, either on their team or, JUCO or high school signees that might have signed professionally. I think most every team is deeper and more experienced, more talented than they normally would be. And obviously Arkansas is always good, always talented, but maybe even more so this year than usual.
Yeah, it feels like in order to get to the College World Series this year, you can't just be good. You got to be great. And I think Arkansas could be great, but we'll find out in the next 4.5 months. Bob, appreciate your time, man. Thank you. Have a great rest of the week.
Okay, you guys take care.
You got it, Bob Holt, Democrat Gazette. Read him in Whole Hog Sports and hear him on Halftime every Thursday. We're brought to you by our friends at Pradco Outdoor Fishing Lures. They make the Yumdinger in Fort Smith by the truckloads in 3-inch, 4-inch, 5-inch, 6-inch sizes. These are in tackle boxes of bass anglers all over the United States and all over the world. Largemouth bass are spawning soon at ponds and lakes all over Arkansas and Oklahoma, and you're going to want the famous Yumdinger to catch them. Wacky rigging the 5-inch model can't be beat for spawning bass. They're available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, Lurenet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. It's the Yumdinger from Pradco Outdoor Fishing Lures. All right, one more segment in the first hour. Halftime, 877-377-6963. What is Ed Ogeron doing on the NBC show Young Rock? We'll get to that next.
This is Mike Hatchley with Hatchley Air. Did you know we've been serving customers like you since 1958? For our 63rd birthday, Carrier gave us a free furnace. We decided to pay it forward by giving the furnace away along with a brand new high-efficiency air conditioner. For your chance to win, go to AtchleyAir.com. One lucky homeowner will win a high-efficiency system valued at nearly $9,000, and there's no cost to you. Don't wait to enter. The drawing will be held on February the 25th.
AtchleyAir.com.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
In the mood for a top-shelf night, 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge has your number. Sit back, relax, and enjoy select wines, top-shelf spirits, and handcrafted cocktails in a rich, comfortable, sanitized setting with state-of-the-art air filtration. Indulge in one of their delicious appetizers, sandwiches, salads, or specialty items for carry-out or dine-in. Open Tuesday through Saturday. Stop by 906 Garrison Avenue in Fort Smith. 906 Garrison in Fort Smith. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge, defining nightlife in downtown Fort Smith.
Attention high school seniors. Are you involved in welding classes? If so, United Welding Institute in Pottsville has an incredible opportunity for you. High school seniors that are interested in competing will have the chance to win a $10,000 welding scholarship and welding supplies. There will also be cash prizes for those that finish in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Positions are extremely limited to enter the competition, so to get more info and to sign up, contact United Welding Institute at 479-968-3390 or by logging onto their website, UnitedWeldingInstitute.com.
Do you have sleep apnea? Are you tired of dealing with a CPAP every night? The noise, the constant cleaning, your wife telling you she can't take the noise anymore. Dr. Bo Sparkman at Family Dental Care of Fort Smith can help you with sleep apnea with a custom dental appliance that allows you to get rid of that annoying CPAP. Dr. Sparkman has years of experience and has treated hundreds of patients just like you. Call for your appointment today, 785-1419. That's 785-1419. Get rid of your CPAP with Family Dental Care of Fort Smith.
Whether you're fishing for cold water bass on Beaver Lake or Table Rock, or fishing for a trophy brown trout on the mighty White River, the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue will catch them. It has that famous rolling action whether it's fished extremely slow or worked fast in heavy current. This rogue suspends, so it will stay in the strike zone longer, allowing you to catch more fish. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shop, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. Stop by 7320 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith or call 648-3342. You can also catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
Arkansas Fuel Injection in Fort Smith has been providing quality work for all new and rebuilt diesel pumps and injectors for over 25 years. They are a certified diesel shop with a team of quality technicians that ensure the highest quality workmanship and warranties all their work. They are open Monday through Friday 8 to 5 and has emergency service available 24 hours a day. For all your diesel pump, fuel injection, and parts needs, stop by Arkansas Fuel Injection, 6300 South 29th Street, Fort Smith. Call them today at 1-800-817-7709. Arkansas Fuel Injection.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Jefferson off play action, going to throw deep again, got a man. Burks at the 25, complete. He's going to score. Touchdown, Arkansas. KJ put a little air underneath it, and the Razorbacks are a PAT away from tying.
The Morning Rush, Halftime, Ruskin and Zach, the Hog Talk Podcast. Trusting the process, primetime preps, all available on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Built by Breeden RV Center. Family owned and operated, a no-pressure, laid-back atmosphere, and always home of the free maintenance for life. Just type Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right, you guys, podcast time.
Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and SmackDown.
Welcome back on happy Matt Jenkins anniversary day here on Halftime. We can't call it SmackDown anniversary because he didn't have the nickname yet. SmackDown. What were the finalists for for your nickname?
You wanted Big Sexy, but we weren't.
I wanted Big Sexy, but
that made me uncomfortable.
Made everybody uncomfortable.
To celebrate, we came back with your favorite rapper, John Cena.
With trademark.
I think that 1 year later, after we get to know him as well as we have now, Maddie, don't you think Big Sexy? Would you accept this one now?
I would now, yeah.
So just not when you just meet somebody. You can't just meet somebody and
Hi,
then
I'm
bestow
Big
the
Sexy.
nickname Big Sexy.
Is it fair to say now that, like, could we retire SmackDown? Or?
I do. I call you SmackDown all the time. I don't even think about it anymore.
So the choices back then, which the actual anniversary of SmackDown will be February 28th.
Let me mark this down.
That'll be mark it down.
Is that a day? Do we have a show that day? Is that a Monday through Friday? No, it's a Sunday. Come on,
okay. God Almighty!
We need to have a special Sunday show.
Well, we'll do a best stuff on Sunday. So the choice is on February 28th, 2020. This is pre-pandemic. You know, the world.
Everything was great.
Everything was
It was
great.
a more innocent time.
More innocent time. We were calling baseball games. I had been to several basketball games. Everything was normal.
We were eating at IHOP. I could go to Waffle House whenever I wanted. I could go out and get a beer at a bar if I wanted to. The choices back then were Beef Mitts, SmackDown, Hammer Hands, and the overwhelmingly voted favorite on our Twitter page was Squatch. Squatch, yep.
Well,
so technically Squatch won.
Squatch won the Twitter vote, but Mama and Papa SmackDown called in, and then a few of my students texted us in on the Facebook page, I think is what happened, and they voted SmackDown, so we did the 2/3 vote. And
I would have been more uncomfortable with the nickname Squatch than Big Sexy.
I don't think
it's
anybody
too close. It's too close to the word squat. I can't go with the nickname like
Nobody
that.
would have took me seriously if they'd have called me Squatch.
You're a lot hairier now than you were back then.
And Lady SmackDown, who is the reason that he's got this great facial hair set up now, texts in, Big Sexy is very fitting in her opinion.
Wow.
Congratulations, SmackDown. You can never retire that nickname now, because if you do, she's got to retire Lady SmackDown.
She would have been Lady Squatch or Lady Beef Mitts.
Oh, yeah. I don't think
Lady Mitts.
Yeah.
There would never be a woman that would take Lady Squatch as her proud nickname. That's never going to happen. So, and you realize that you can never retire this nickname. This is what people across the state know you as now. Like, I was texting with Daryl, our IT guy, earlier today, and he tells me on a text, if you have trouble getting into the VPN, SmackDown can help you. He didn't say Matt. He didn't say Jenkins. He said SmackDown.
But it's the
this
same
is
thing.
what people know you as.
It's the same thing back home, because I have about he's a 3 or 4 year old. He's a friend of mine who I borrowed the Jeep from. I met Jason Moore. I brought him up on the show, but he has I think he's 3. He's either is 3 or turning 3 or something like that. But he talks. He does not call me Matt. I don't even think he knows that I am actually Matt. He calls me Big Sexy. But it's the same thing. Everybody back home, it's either Jenkins. More people call me SmackDown now, but it was always Big Sexy. Where's Big Sexy at?
Well, I'm just going to call you Matt when we're, one-on-one. When the other Matt's involved, you got to be SmackDown. That's how it's got to work. But at least, hey, I'm glad you didn't ask to have the nickname Young Rock. Which is the new show that's debuted on NBC. By the way, like, does anybody watch any sitcoms anymore on any of the networks? Like, I have not watched a television sitcom, like a new TV sitcom show in, gosh, I can't even tell you.
I think the better way to phrase it, how many of you sit down and watch it live?
Never.
Versus, like, now you can watch it on, like, Hulu and, like,
but even
if you
on
have satellite services,
even on Hulu, I don't,
Yeah.
That's why I was talking about that, and then that Kenan Thompson show. I was like, yeah, it's nice they got new shows, but when am I ever going to commit to watching a TV sitcom anymore?
Well, so has Young Rock debuted?
Yes.
This has come out, right? It's out.
This
is all about early life of
Dwayne Johnson.
Of
my and I ask you, why would anybody care about him as a kid? But his dad was the original Rock, wasn't he? What was his dad's name? He's Rock Jr. basically.
The original Rock. His dad's name was Rocky Johnson.
Oh, okay.
I think where this will cater to it is, A, if you're just a fan of The Rock, which a lot of people are. But in my case, being a wrestling guy, I'm anxious to see how they depict Vince McMahon. I've also seen tweets that the Iron Sheik is in this. Andre the Giant. Right? Yeah, Andre the Giant. And apparently now, which we're going to play some audio for you in a second, Ed Orgeron is in this show.
He's a wrestler too.
I didn't realize that he recruited. I knew he was a defensive line coach at Miami when The Rock was there. I didn't realize that he recruited him to play at Miami.
It's crazy. I didn't know it either.
So this is a actor portraying a young
Ed Orgeron.
I can only imagine what this is going to sound like.
It sounds as glorious as you think it's fixing to sound.
The beast of Bethlehem. What up, Coach Orgeron? How the hell are you, son? Welcome to Miami football. Hey, you want some coffee? No thanks, I don't drink coffee. Oh, me neither. I chew. Sends it straight to the blood. All right, first thing I need to do. Sir.
So did you record that on your phone?
No, that was on a tweet that was on this
says
news story.
He chews coffee, right?
Chews coffee, yes.
I think he really does. Now, I watched that little clip before the show.
Uh-huh.
It does sound just like Coach O.
It really does.
Just like him. Doesn't look anything like him at all. Like and of course, I don't know what Ed Orgeron looked like back in 2000. I'm sure he wasn't quite as front heavy.
Yeah.
as he appears to be these days. But there's no way that he was as slim as this guy that plays him. What is his name?
His name is Emmett Skilton.
Yeah, I don't think he ever really looked that slim.
He just became Emmett Skilton just became the biggest actor in the South, and particularly probably in Louisiana. And apparently there's, in this story off USA Today, Ed Orgeron was asked about this, kind of remotely talking about another topic, but Ed Orgeron knew about this. I think he had to give
to use his likeness.
To use his likeness in this.
Sure.
So,
Did you watch an episode of this?
No, I honestly forgot about it, but I will go back and watch it just because.
So you wouldn't say he's going to be the biggest star. That's assuming people are watching this show and not just
exactly
radio shows picking up on it because it's amusing.
Exactly.
So like that was that the last year Dennis Erickson was the head coach there at Miami?
That may be right.
I think it was just before Larry Coker took over. I don't think he played for Coker. Erickson's an interesting guy, maybe not so as interesting as Coach O. So nobody's going to really care who portrays Dennis Erickson on Young Rock, but if it's Coach O, and at least he doesn't say "Go Tigers" because we're kind of sick.
Go
of hearing
Tigers.
That. Yeah, totally sick of hearing that. 877-377-6963.
Didn't hear it a lot this year.
As we get into the second hour of halftime, brought to you by Wheels RV. They've got RV show pricing right now at Wheels RV in Springdale. So skip the lines, all the crowds, shop the industry's best brands at Northwest Arkansas's premier RV dealer. Ask them about a lifetime warranty, RV storage, and the mobile service shuttle will make owning a new RV never easier than right now. RV show pricing is at Wheels, 5 miles west off exit 72 on 412 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover wheelsrv.net.
For a dependable, fuel-efficient tractor from a company committed to the future, make sure you choose a Branson tractor. Each of our tractors is backed by a 6-year limited warranty with models available ranging in horsepower from 22 to 58. That means you are sure to find the tractor that is right for you. Make sure you call or stop in today at Bush Tractor. They're located at 7301 South Zero Street in Fort Smith, or you can check them out online at bushtractor.com.
When you've escaped the screens, and the sun bathes everything in a golden glow, and your friend hands you a cold organic beer that tastes as perfect as nature itself. That's pure gold. Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, the first national USDA certified organic beer. Organic by nature. Enjoy responsibly. 2020 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, St. Louis, Missouri.
There's an old saying, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Hi, this is Scott at Calico County. 2021 is here, and no doubt a lot has changed in the last year. But something that has stayed the same is Calico County's award-winning food. Great portions that are fresh and always cooked from scratch. Something that we have changed is improved curbside service for those of you that don't want to fight the crowds. And of course, we will never change those great cinnamon rolls that everyone loves. So for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or catering, it's Calico County, just off Rogers Avenue, behind Randall Ford.
This is Brett Good, former Razorback and Super Bowl champion with the Green Bay Packers. Everyone loves to be on a winning team. That is why I have joined Henderson Phillips Employer Solutions. Henderson Phillips can help you tackle all your employee benefit, health insurance, and staffing management solutions. Plus, I can help you with any commercial or personal insurance need. Come join my team at Henderson Phillips. Call me, Brett Good, at 479-651-2292. That's 651-2292.
Looking to upgrade your fleet or needing professional service to your existing fleet? Carco International of Fort Smith offers the latest trucks and equipment in the industry. With over 70 years in the trucking and equipment business, they have the experience to keep you on the road. Carco International offers professional service after the sale. Carco International Parts Department supplies all makes, parts, and gives expert service. Carco International is the answer. Leave it to the pros to keep you on the road. Carco International, located at 2721 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
We will be in and out of the clouds for today. Our high this afternoon into the upper 20s north, mid 30s south with some icing issues, especially early in the day. Partly cloudy, a cold one again tonight, and overnight low right around 8 to 10 degrees. Friday, sunshine, mid to upper 30s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Hey, this is Ty Richardson. Make sure to listen to The Morning Rush every weekday morning from 6 to 9 on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
It's fast. It's exciting.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3. From the Busch Light Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Because this is a proud damn state.
Streaming live from hitthatline.com.
You can actually feel Razorback Stadium shaking underneath our feet right now.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Stick this one in the electrical socket, folks. The Razorbacks have shocked the world. Arkansas defeats UConn.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
Halftime today is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings in Fort Smith, Conway, Little Rock, Sherwood, and Jonesboro.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar!
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Second hour halftime, big on baseball with Ted Cahill coming up in 30 minutes. He is national writer for Baseball America. We'll get into the Razorbacks and some other stuff about the Horsehide later on in this hour. Wrap it up with halftime homework. Got some thoughts for you guys on what you need to be doing with diapers once you actually get to that part of your life. It might be a while, though. Also, happy National Drink Wine Day.
Hey!
I don't know if I'm going to get involved in this one today.
I'm not a big fan of wine.
Lady Smackdown has turned me into a little bit of a wine drinker.
A bit of a wino?
A bit of a whiner.
Oh.
Well, what does she have you drinking? The red, the white, the rosé?
It's a red. I mean, give me just a sec, because I don't.
When we went
honestly, I don't know.
We went to Eastside Liquor, the sponsor of the Halftime podcast, and I picked up my girl a bottle of just some watermelon or strawberry flavored stuff. But Smackdown, Lady Smackdown's got a more sophisticated palate, apparently.
I just got a text message in all caps. It's National Drink Wine Day, so I'm probably gonna have to run by over there at Eastside Liquor and go pick up a bottle of wine after we leave here.
Now, is this any kind of wine that's celebrated on this day?
Mad Dog
this, like,
2020?
the real wine made out of grapes. And that's the stuff I was getting to. Like, I'm not celebrating Thunderbird. I'm not celebrating
Boone's
Mad
Farm?
Dog 2020, which was the worst experience of my life as a pledge in a fraternity that I wish I didn't pledge.
I've never drank that stuff, but
that's not
only
wine.
imagine.
That's more like Kool-Aid. But anyway, I think it's more like the red and the white stuff today.
She drinks. I thank you for sending that to me. Moscato Rubino, California Sweet Red Moscato.
Sounds just a slightly hoity-toity. Which
I was going to pretend like I know
wine is.
Like I know what that is, but I've heard of Moscato. That I thought that was a white wine, though. I guess the other word
I think there's
indicates that it's a red version of that.
So Smackdown, does she have you tasting your wine like a proper
sommelier,
like a proper aficionado?
So no, but I do kind of like I've seen enough YouTube videos of people doing it on Facebook. So like I'll pour about a half a glass, which I think is what you're supposed to do, and then I'll like sit there and twirl it just to see it spin.
You're letting it aerate.
It's called seeing the legs. You're supposed to see the legs of the wine as it drips down the glass. That's right.
See, part of me, like, I've never been a wine guy. I mean, I'm not going to, like, go out of my way to go get a glass of wine at a restaurant, but
I've never been a wine guy, but I do complain a lot.
I always make fun of my dad with it because, I mean, I learned how to taste wine from watching him, but I will never try to describe the things I taste.
It's
in
full-bodied.
wine the way that he does. No, he gets really into the weeds with this stuff, man. He says, oh, that tastes a little bit like charcoal. Oh, I taste some leather. There's some pencil lead.
How do you know what leather tastes like?
I know, and I said it was like pencil lead. Don't tell me you taste pencil lead. You don't even know what pencil lead tastes like. I do. I chewed into that stuff as a 7-year-old in school. But it's not in wine, so don't tell me that your wine tastes like pencil lead. And if it does, why are you drinking it?
See, we've been talking sports for most of the show, and then we start bringing up wine. We get 2 texts about that. B in Clarksville says, hands down, post-red muscadine wine is his favorite. It'll put it'll put you on your butt, and it's only during the season.
They make that here in Arkansas.
Yeah. Over at the Whittier
Post and a few different one of these. They're all in the same area.
Porter from the Hog Talk podcast said, pour a glass of white wine
and add a little bit of Sprite to it.
And if I'm gonna drink white wine, I have to do that because it's too sweet and acidic on my tummy.
Right. Huh. See, I have no idea.
Make a spritzer.
It's just fun to sit next to somebody that knows what they're talking about when it comes to delivering the flavor and the what do they call it, the taste profile of wines. And
maybe
this is
one of my favorite jokes that Robin Williams did. And he did it over and over and over again. You might remember this one. Is when wine people discuss wine, he would say, "Oh yes, absurd yet flaccid." Yes, that's an absolutely perfect way to describe somebody delivering the taste profile of wine. I would joke with my father. It's like, so do you taste dinosaur sweat in there too? I mean, what else can you find in there?
That's why I could never watch that movie Sideways.
Well, I love that movie.
Do you
it's
really?
Hilarious.
You know what we need?
I just can't relate to it.
You know what we need to do? We need to do a halftime show with all three of us and just make Ty run the board, but all three of us do like live wine tasting on the air. And we're going to do it the proper way and spin it and then taste the dinosaur sweat, leather taste, and everything.
This one's earthy.
So far, nobody has all the wine that people are sending us here, Moscato, the red muscadine, sangria, and mimosas. Josefa says you like sangria and mimosas. This is more like the sweet stuff, not what you're drinking necessarily with a steak or with a lasagna. That's the more bold stuff that really gives me a lot of heartburn. And that's the stuff that my old boss, Bill Valentine, used to bring like bottles of to dinners that would last 5 hours. And just realized by the time you walk out of there, somebody call us a cab. It was way too much. When I think of when I think of National Drink Wine Day, I think of my old friend Bill Valentine.
There's two things that just popped in my head, and I'm sure you've seen it too. Have y'all seen the clip of Jimmy Fallon and Blake Shelton drinking wine at this like a restaurant like Fuji's or something like that? And he's talking about rice wine.
Nope.
I will say it's just really funny just watching a redneck do it. There's a great video too of Kelly Clarkson and Kevin Hart doing a wine tasting on her new TV show, and Kevin Hart just throws this thing all out of a loop. But
it just sits too heavy in my stomach. I feel like 6 hours later, I still feel like there's unprocessed wine in my stomach.
People would have given Joe Buck like all sorts of hell if he would have said instead that I had a tall ballpark beer there, in the corner of the booth that I looked at and every once in a while had a sip. If he admitted that he had wine,
like he's like, I've got a nice little bottle of Sutter Home White Zinfandel next to me.
What the hell? Why are you calling football games for us?
A nice big zin, I think would be the word he would have said. A
moment of zen with Joe Buck.
Yeah, Altus, Arkansas. So I've actually stopped by there to those two different wineries there.
We need to
the thing
do
is,
that.
though, it's the same stuff you can buy at all the stores around town too. So I don't know if it's not necessarily like you're driving through the wine country of California or something. It's kind of looks like
is
a
that
field,
like, is that and this may be a stupid. Is that the ultimate place to get wine? Is in California? California wine is that the?
That's what everyone always. Napa Valley,
I'd say. Yeah, Northern California, okay. Oregon wines are really good. I've had a few of those. There's some in Washington, and I haven't necessarily had the ones around here too.
Not to say it's not a pretty area. I'm just saying it's not like the rolling hills you would expect of like.
Right, but
when I think of wine growing regions, I guess I think of Italy. I think of Chile. I think of Australia and California.
I'm telling you, we need to do a wine tasting segment on this show. Live, we'll go to a winery, go to a distillery, or what? Not a distillery. That's for alcohol.
Sounds like another podcast for the Hit That Line podcast network brought to you by Breed and RV,
Actually,
which also goes along with, have you figured out what you're going to call your wrestling and fast food?
Well, so
I liked the suggestion we got yesterday.
Who was that? Was that from who sent us that? That would have been.
We'll just take the credit for it.
That was Dennis and Van Buren. Texted it right after the show ended. And Phil, see what you think of this. Pastime with Matty T and SmackDown.
Pastime?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's after halftime. Pastime.
Yeah. And it's pastime, and it is also a pastime is
wrestling.
Eating fast food and wrestling.
Yes, and drinking wine apparently now.
What were the ones I came up with yesterday? You erased them, unfortunately, from our
You
rundown.
did. I can go back and look. You did the Appetite Tap Out.
I thought Appetite Tap Out
and rumble
work.
in the tummy or tummy rumble or something.
Tummy rumble.
Tummy rumble.
I think you want to rearrange
tummy
the
rumble
words a little
time.
differently. Yeah, and JT says that if it wasn't for his wife, he wouldn't know anything about wine. I think there's a lot of men out there who are in the same boat as
I
JT.
Agree.
That wine, and I don't necessarily agree that wine is a woman's drink. I think that it's anybody.
Well, there's so many different choices. Like,
Wine spritzers, I think, would be different. Like, that's what Ty would have been drinking if he was alive in the 80s. I taught him for a halftime homework, Bartles and James, wine spritzers, which did, like, these famous commercials.
Yeah.
That's what he would have
There were
drank.
wine coolers.
They were wine coolers, right. Then they became wine spritzers, and now it's called seltzer. It's all essentially the same thing. That's what he would have been drinking. Wine is for a man, too.
It's a shame he didn't have his headphones in. It's a shame he just walked right by us and he didn't have his headphones in. That was the thing. Like when I would go pick up this wine for her, and I have to ask for help because, like Eastside Liquor's the same way in different liquor stores back at home. Like there's just walls and walls full of wines, and I don't know what the difference is from Annie versus but I can sure tell you the difference in like 1800 tequila and everything else that's out there.
Yeah, it's all a matter of how much you've already tried.
That's a good point.
And what you know from that point on. That's right. Porter tells us Wiederkehr family came over in the late 1800s and grow their grapes and muscadine on St. Mary's Mountain.
We need to go to Whitaker.
And so they have a restaurant at that place, too.
We were going to go there for Valentine's Day.
Well, if you have a winery, you got to have a restaurant, too. I'm pretty sure about that. Oh, good stuff. I love that it is National Wine Day, and that's the only way I'm celebrating it. I'm not drinking any of that stuff.
I'll drink a glass for you both tonight.
Thanks.
Tummy Rumble will be on the Hit That Line podcast network. It's the place to find all our best online content from the Morning Rush, Halftime, Ruskin and Zach, Hog Talk, Trust in the Process, and Primetime Preps, and whatever SmackDown's going to call the Wrestling and Fast Food podcast. It's made possible by Breeden RV Center, family-owned and operated. There are no pressure, laid-back atmosphere, and always home of free maintenance for life. 877-377-6963. The broadcaster doesn't hate your team. Stay with us.
The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft.
One of the things you liked about Sam Pittman and the initial hires he made is the SEC experience that they had. Now you're switching it up, lack of Power 5 and SEC experience. You get a lot of younger guys. Every single one of these assistants are younger than their predecessor. That's something I think you need to at least raise your eyebrows on.
Weekdays from 6 till 9, only on ESPN 95.3.
Save up to $10,000 off on remaining 2020 Ford F-150s at Harry Robinson Salasol Ford. Harry has a great selection of trucks, up to $10,000 off while they last. The 2020 Ford Mustangs have got to go. Lots of colors to choose from, and up to $5,500 off. And the 2020 Ford Edge Titanium, over $8,500 off, only $34,575. The 2020s must go at Harry Robinson Salasol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off 540 in Salasol.
Brr, it's cold, but winter is actually a good time to paint that room you've been meaning to get to. This is Sue from the paint store in Van Buren, and I would love to help you with a great color selection from Richards Paint. Need to do some outdoor painting? The paint store's low temp application product from Richards is usable down to 35 degrees. Experience our 30 plus years of expert friendly advice that you can't get at a national brand store. The paint store in Van Buren, 1414 Fayetteville Road.
Back again with our good friends at World of Wireless, 877-305-DISH. As we all start to thaw out, make the move to Dish right now and save $30 or $40 a month for the next 2 years.
Never been a time to save more money than with Dish and Dish TV service. The 16-tuner hopper records up to 16 shows at once. Save on your money and your rate for 2 years. It is a guaranteed rate for the next 2 years. No one offers that in the business. We can install you in the next couple of days. Be sure you call 877-305-DISH or go to our website, shopwownow.com.
Can't emphasize enough what the 2-year price guarantee does for you. Over the next couple of years, you may save $1,000.
Yeah, a lot of our customers were seeing $600-700 a year in savings. So that could be well over $1,000. But on the average, $500 to $700 a year in savings when you sign up for Dish and the new price guarantee, which will guarantee your rate for the next 2 years.
877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for WOW, World of Wireless.
Are you concerned about possible COVID exposure for you or your employees? Fort Smith has a new option for PCR COVID testing that is fast and accurate. Natural State Laboratories out of Little Rock has opened a PCR COVID drive-thru location in Fort Smith at Community Bible Church. PCR testing is the most sensitive, accurate test available, and results are available the next day. No appointment is necessary. Convenient COVID PCR drive-thru testing in Fort Smith is open 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Friday at Community Bible Church, located at 9201 Dallas Street.
River City Bistro is Fort Smith's favorite place for lunch, dinner, and brunch. Open 7 days a week. both on the heated patio and the cozy dining room. River City Bistro is locally owned and open weekdays 11 to 8, Saturdays 10 to 8, and Sundays 10 to 3. Want River City Bistro curbside to go? Just search on Facebook or Instagram for River City Bistro or go to rcbistro.com. River City Bistro, 7320 Rogers Avenue in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center.
The B.F. Goodrich President's Day sale, because leaders never follow. Between February 12th and 19th, get a $70 or $50 reward card or virtual account after online submission with the purchase of 4 new select B.F. Goodrich passenger or light truck tires. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith today for quality B.F. Goodrich tires and the best-in-class service. Get where you need to be with Michelin, B.F. Goodrich, and Southern Tire Mart. See bfgoodrichtires.com/promotion for complete details. Offer expires February 19, 2021. Void where prohibited.
This is ESPN 95.3.
One-point Razorback lead, 18 to shoot. Slocum makes a move down the right side, backs up from the block, feeds Daniels left wing, back for Slocum, three's on the way, buckets for Destiny Slocum. Timeout, Arkansas.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins. Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Follow the guys on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP, at Matt Travis, and at Matt Jenkins 44.
Pitchers and catchers reporting to spring training. Heston Kjerstad will be part of Orioles' big league spring training, but later on in the month. Mike Elias, the Baltimore general manager, a few days ago on a preseason Zoom call with Orioles beat reporters, had mentioned that Heston dealt with myocarditis and missed off-season workouts and the instructional league because of myocarditis, which you know is that heart inflammation that has been linked to COVID. So that's a scary situation. You know, there have been some college basketball, I think college football players that were held out for, if not entire seasons, pretty darn close to it because of that exact condition. But Heston he said he's fine now and is feeling okay. There's still a little bit for him to get past as far as, I think, testing before he can report. But all signs now are that he will report to spring training with the big league team later on this month. So that is good news, but you know, a little nerve-wracking when you hear that Heston had myocarditis. Other stuff as news pours in from the big trade in the NFL with Carson Wentz being dealt to the Indianapolis Colts. This was a trade. We knew that Wentz was getting dealt at some point. Just a matter of when and who and how much the Eagles would get back for him. And I wonder if this will also kind of SmackDown start some of the, be the ball that gets everything else rolling, the finger behind the marble, so to speak. Because, I mean, you now is Deshaun Watson getting traded, or is Houston going to keep him? What's happening with Roethlisberger with the Steelers? And Kevin Colbert, their general manager, yesterday sounded a little bit lukewarm on Roethlisberger returning, certainly under the current contract, and they've got, I think, less than a month or maybe a month and a half, something like that, to restructure the contract if he does come back to minimize the cap hit. So, Goff's already been dealt, and Stafford too. So, quarterback's on the move, man. Very interesting. That's a great position. I heard Greeny talking about it before we started the show today, and that's about the best situation that Wentz could have been traded for.
Yeah, completely agree. That's a good little spot for him to get into because, I mean, they were needing a quarterback. I mean, everybody that was on that Eagles roster is gone. Phillip Rivers retires, and so he'll slide right into it. One interesting tidbit from this Eagles trade with the Colts, a $33.8 million dead money cap charge to the Eagles is now the largest in NFL history, the dead money charge. $33 million that I guess they have to pay to get out of that $33 million in cap over. I don't know exactly how that whole thing works, but the previous one was from the LA Rams
with Jared Goff at $22 million. But
look,
no,
I understand. Trevor Lawrence is a can't-miss prospect,
right?
But we have now seen 2 top overall NFL draft picks, the number 1 pick in the draft twice, now get traded in the past month. Think about that.
Yeah, you're right.
Was Stafford a top overall pick too? I don't think he was number 1 overall. I know he was first round. Detroit usually is close to picking number 1, so he had to be at least close to it. But gosh, to have 2 number 1 pick quarterbacks being traded in the last month, and it's been recent. They were recently drafted. When was Goff drafted? 16. Wentz in 15.
But
or the year before?
Stafford was the first overall pick in 2009.
Wow, that's 3 number 1 overall draft choices.
And then you bring it forward just a little bit. And I know Roethlisberger won the first overall draft pick, but you throw him into the mix. Jared Goff just got moved. Deshaun Watson, we just talked about him. All these quarterbacks are getting shuffled and moved around. Bringing up Deshaun Watson, I don't see any scenario, at least from what we've been told and what we've heard, that he's going to be lining up under center for the Texans next season. I just don't see it. Unless if they mend a lot of fences with that, which, heck, you just release the face of the franchise for nothing in J.J. Watt. Like, we talked about that with Nicky Chavanel. Just it's mind-boggling what they're doing down in Houston right now.
Yeah,
it's a lot of interesting carousels, and I think this is obviously the Goff Stafford trade was the first domino to fall. This was a big one just because of the magnitude of the contract that the Colts are undertaking now under Carson Wentz and the cap hit that the Eagles are having to do, and the fact that the Eagles only got 2 draft picks out of the deal for it. They got a third-round pick and a conditional second-round pick in 2023, I believe, that could turn into a first-rounder. That's it.
Colts are ready to win now, man.
They've got the talent to. Yeah,
these 3 top overall draft choices that have been traded. Stafford's in a good situation with the Rams, and they're rebuilding in Detroit. So Jared Goff is now a rebuilding quarterback, and but for Wentz, this is the best situation for him. That's a team that's ready-made to win. They are the best team in that AFC South, and I wouldn't put them quite on the same level as the Chiefs in the AFC, but maybe one rung below them. But are you going to get Carson Wentz, the MVP candidate from the Super Bowl year, or are you going to get the Carson Wentz from this past season, a guy who could never stay healthy and wasn't very good when he was healthy? So
I think sometimes it's just the change of scenery that some guys need. And you wonder, too, like, what could this do to Jared Goff going to Detroit? I understand it's a rebuilding situation, but maybe things change with him. Heck, now Jared Goff is playing with a guy that had a fractured throat in Frank Ragnow.
Yeah.
So, but I of course, I'm joking when I say that, but it's maybe the change of scenery is what Carson Wentz needs. And obviously, I don't know how, functional the Eagles franchise was. You saw it towards the end of the regular season when you pulled Jalen Hurts inexplicably obviously they were out of the playoffs, but it is what it is. And you wonder how much of that was coaching on Carson Wentz rather than just the player Carson Wentz.
Well, it really kind of felt like there was a struggle between Wentz and Doug Peterson, and when Peterson was fired by Jeffrey Lurie, that Wentz was the winner, and he was going to be the guy again. But obviously that wasn't the case. And it's getting rid of both Peterson and Wentz within about a month and a half of each other.
I think you saw what Jalen Hurts, though, could do with that Eagles team, which now you got a new coaching staff and you got a new head coach that preached being smart, as we played that audio a couple weeks ago. Being a smart team and making a smart decision. But
having
Jalen Hurts,
single most awkward press conference this side of Adam Gase's eyes chasing that fly.
We've got that audio somewhere in the system somewhere, but no, Jalen Hurts definitely proved it through the latter part of that season, getting the offense moving and showed some visions of what he could be for this Eagles team moving forward. So they're taking a gamble. I think it's a good gamble to take and getting rid of Carson Wentz and going with the young guy, and let Carson Wentz rebuild and try to revitalize his career for 2 years ago being an MVP candidate for the Eagles. And for a Colts team that's loaded, ready to rock and roll, and they just needed that one little piece, maybe it is Carson Wentz.
And speaking of quarterbacks in awkward situations, Tim Tebow retired from professional baseball late last night. The Mets had already, by the way, they had invited him to Major League Spring Training, giving him one of those 75 roster spots for the Major League Spring Training. Now, it's worth me saying this up front. I like Tim Tebow. He seems to be really easy to root for, genuinely a nice person, genuinely very polite. I understand why you might not have liked him when he was quarterbacking the Gators. I get that, but it's pretty easy to root for him. With that said, and the idea that he'd not played baseball for how long? I mean, he didn't play at Florida and then goes to have his short NFL career. It had been probably like 8 years since he played baseball, and he goes on to have like a 4-year career in which he stunk. He was no good. 31-year-old double-A player. So, hey, it was cool that he got a chance to try it. I had no problem with him giving that a shot. I thought it was cool. And by the way, like almost 2,500 extra people would show up at minor league games when Tebow played. There was one thing I did tell Ty Richardson on it, changed my mind, is that I would have a better chance of making Major League Baseball than Tim Tebow.
Whoa.
Tebow never had a shot at it.
Phil Elson better than Tim Tebow at baseball?
He never had a shot at it. And look, I think I would have had just as much of a shot to make contact against a real Major League pitcher like Tim Tebow did, which is zero.
Oh.
Which is zero. All right, coming after the break, we're getting into a lot of baseball with Teddy Cahill from Baseball America. Stay with us.
Every player matters, and finding the right person can make all the difference.
In 1999, the Indianapolis Colts traded Marshall Faulk to the St. Louis Rams for a 2nd and 5th round pick. The move helped transform the Rams offense into one of the most dynamic in the history of the NFL. They became known as the greatest show on turf. Faulk won the NFL MVP in 2000, and the Rams went on to reach 2 Super Bowls, winning Super Bowl 34.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
When scouting talent, teams use all the tools at their disposal to determine the best fit for their rosters. LinkedIn Jobs works that way for your business. Post a job with targeted screening questions, and LinkedIn will quickly get your role in front of qualified candidates. Manage job posts and contact candidates from a single view as functions are streamlined onto one simple screen. Get $50 off your first job post at linkedin.com/sports. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Gelco for hard work and the great outdoors.
With quality and price and comfort you like, and savings that you're looking for.
We've got the shoes and boots, steel toes too, outerwear and a whole lot more.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Gelco
for hard work and the great outdoors.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Do you have sleep apnea? Are you tired of dealing with a CPAP every night? The noise, the constant cleaning, your wife telling you she can't take the noise anymore. Dr. Bo Sparkman at Family Dental Care of Fort Smith can help you with sleep apnea with a custom dental appliance that allows you to get rid of that annoying CPAP. Dr. Sparkman has years of experience and has treated hundreds of patients just like you. Call for your appointment today, 785-1419. That's 785-1419. Get rid of your CPAP with Family Dental Care of Fort Smith.
Your locally owned TGI Fridays in Fort Smith is now open for dine-in, curbside to go, and delivery for both lunch and dinner, 7 days a week. TGI Fridays is taking your safety seriously, following every guideline. Enjoy Fridays favorites like appetizers, burgers, sandwiches, salads, all the great Fridays, signature entrees, kids meals, and great desserts. TGI Fridays, now open for dine-in, curbside to go, and delivery. Call 479-484-0906. That's 484-0906. Or order online at Fridays.com. Your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 in Rogers and Fort Smith.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC has over 200 pre-owned vehicles to choose from luxury to economy and everything in between, including over 50 great vehicles with payments under $250 a month, certain to fit your needs and your budget. And at Harry Robinson Buick GMC, you always get more for your trade. 50 vehicles with payments under $250 a month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off I-540 in Fort Smith.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins.
All right, let's talk some baseball. Ted Cahill joining us, national writer, Baseball America. College baseball does start tomorrow, though not for Arkansas. And you got pitchers and catchers reporting, and here it is. We got snow outside. It just feels a little bit weird. Ted, I always love this time of the year. I feel nothing but optimism. I guess most baseball fans do, outside of Pirates fans, which I am one of them. So, hey, here we are. Valentine's Day is come and gone, and we got baseball in the future. You got to be happy about that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's obviously with everyone in a deep freeze around the country, it feels a little strange, but you're right. I mean, if you can't have optimism this time of year, that something's wrong. Something's wrong with your team. Maybe you're the Orioles and you have 0.0% chance of making the playoffs, according to Fangraphs. But this time of year, everyone feels good about their team, and they should, because you can be plenty optimistic and not worry about the warts yet.
I thought that was hilarious how Major League Baseball actually puts out the playoff odds for the Orioles at 0. Rockies 0.1, Rangers 0.8, Pirates 0.4%. I love it.
So you're saying there's a chance for your Pittsburgh Pirates?
Yeah, just the tiniest little chance, right. All right, so let's get into some of this college stuff here. And this weekend that Arkansas has coming up, Ted, I mean, I don't think they've ever faced a first weekend like this before. You get Texas Tech, TCU. And, just the fact that you have three of the best teams out of the SEC playing those three teams, too. Arkansas, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. This has to be the best tournament going on in college baseball this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing like this. There's 6 teams going to Arlington, hopefully, who are ranked in the top 15. It's remarkable. I love the format as an SEC West Big 12 showdown. I hope that we can learn an awful lot about these teams, because facing good quality competition like this right out of the chute, I mean, it's you got to be ready to go, and you got to use your A arms, your A lineup like right away. So I'm very intrigued by it. I love the execution of the field, and hopefully we're able to see 9 really good baseball games out of it.
So give me a couple of questions that you're interested in finding out about this Razorback baseball team. And I'm not sure if you had seen this, but earlier this morning, about an hour and a half ago, Dave Van Horn did release what the weekend rotation is going to be. He's going to have Zebulon Vermillion Saturday, Peyton Paulette Sunday, Lyle Lockhart Monday. That was, a big question that we had. Dave answered it. I wonder just a couple of things that you really are interested in finding out this weekend, perhaps, about the Razorbacks.
Well, I think that rotation is probably numbers like 1 through 5 for Arkansas, and how I'm looking to learn about them, because there are a lot of different ways that this pitching staff, and it goes beyond the rotation, can unfold. There are a lot of good options there. There aren't a lot of, I would say, really experienced options. Vermillion and Bolden, they've been in the program for a long time, but not in those roles. Lyle Lockhart's been in college baseball a long time in a variety of roles, but never at Arkansas. So how does that all come together? That's how did the newcomers fit in? Lockhart, being one of them, but how do the freshmen fit in there? how do they go about setting up the rotation and the pitching staff overall? Because they could do some very creative things. They could, just turn all those guys into, 7-inning starters too, feasibly. So that's absolutely my biggest question about Arkansas is just what does this pitching staff look like? The lineup, I mean, even after losing Kerstad and Martin, I have less questions about. I want to see if Robert Moore can continue what he started last year, and if Christian Franklin is ready to be kind of the guy, and who else is going to step up around those two, and Matt Goodhart and some of the other experienced guys like Opitz. But really, for me, the pitching staff is like questions 1 through 5 for me.
And in Baseball America's preseason poll, you guys have Arkansas ranked 8th, but also behind two teams in their own division, Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Those teams return the bulk of their starting rotations, and I guess there's just a little more known quantities about the Rebels and Bulldogs' overall pitching staff in Arkansas. Is that why Ole Miss and Mississippi State were ranked ahead of Arkansas?
Yeah, it's a big part of why Arkansas is where it is. It's just general uncertainty about the pitching staff. The Rebels bring back the entirety of their pitching staff effectively. Their whole rotation's back. They were playing really well last year. They have some pieces to replace in the lineup too, but I feel really good about what they return. Mississippi State is breaking in a little bit of a different rotation. They're throwing Will Bednar into the mix. He was in the bullpen a year ago, but their Friday guy Christian McLeod was off to an incredible start last season, and Eric Sarantola was pitching pretty well for them in the rotation as well. And those three guys all have first-round upside. So, yeah, I just feel like they have a little more certainty on the pitching side, a little more upside on the pitching side than the Hogs do.
Ted Cahill of Baseball America joining us here on Halftime. Ted, a little bit more on Razorback baseball just for a second, and then we'll move on right to the SEC and kind of get your thoughts on the SEC as a whole. But when you look at this Razorback team, and up the middle for this team between Casey Opitz, Robert Moore, Christian Franklin, and others, there's probably no better team up the middle than this Razorback team. And when you factor that in with the hitting and fielding that this team has, if this team can figure out the rotation and figure out the pitching rotation for the weekend series and midweek games, is this Razorback team, as it stands right now, in your estimation, a College World Series bound team?
Well, I mean, they certainly have the upside. If you told me that the rotation was going to be as a solid rotation and the bullpen was going to be really good, I probably would tell you that team's probably headed to Omaha. They have. Losing Heston Kerstad is a significant thing. That affects multiple people in the lineup. It's not just about replacing his production, but the lineup is. I have no doubt that Arkansas is going to hit. Like that's the track record for the Hogs at this point, and I think that when you throw in defensively, getting Opitz back was huge. So there's a lot to like on the position player side for sure.
And when you look all across the SEC, we'll start with the SEC West. And we touched on it a minute ago with Ole Miss, Mississippi State. You throw in LSU as well. And when you look at the SEC preseason standings, all four of those teams are neck and neck with each other between spots 1 through 4. And it's going to be a wild contest in the SEC West this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, you can shake those teams up and put them in whatever order you feel like. I think in large respect right now, I mean, we have it the way we have it, but somebody else could look at it and say, well, I want the exact reverse of that, and I would have to say, okay, I see where you're coming from here. It's gonna be a dogfight out west, and it's more than just those 4 teams, because the 2 teams from Alabama are very good as well. They both have high power Friday night guys, solid lineups, and then A&M is going to pitch as well as they always do, even after losing a guy in the top 5 picks of the draft. So, he's better be ready for it in the SEC West, just like it's going to be a fight every week, just like it has been for the last several years now.
And over in the SEC East, it was the overwhelming favorite with Florida. But, Ted, when I look at it, I mean, I understand why Florida is the favorite, but it seems like, is Vandy getting overlooked just a little bit with Kumar Rocker, or is Florida just that good this year?
I mean, I don't think anyone's overlooking the reigning champs. When you have Kumar Rocker, like, that's really loud. Jack Leiter, another potential first-round pick, projected first-round pick. in the rotation behind him were really good. But no, I mean, it's about Florida being as good as they are. They returned literally every pitcher who threw a pitch for them last year, and they were the number one team in the country. They bring back 8 regulars in the lineup, and they added a top 5 recruiting class. Like, I don't know what more you could want out of a team than what Florida's running out there right now in terms of experience and talent. That was probably the easiest choice of any of the spots in the conference, just picking Florida as the number one team in the East. But yeah, I mean, you can't overlook Vanderbilt. The talent is undeniable, and when you have Kumar Rocker leading the rotation, that's something that really can separate you on a Friday night.
And Arkansas doesn't get Vandy this year, but they do wrap up the regular season at home with the Florida Gators. Teddy, let's wrap up the conversation with a thought on just there's an empirical shift in the way that baseball players are being developed around the college age. You can see that in how Major League Baseball is now revamped the minor league system. There are going to be fewer professional players. Fewer players drafted every year. I don't think you're going to have a 5-round draft, but it'll certainly be less than the 40 that we were used to. And it feels like, well, let me put it this way. When I first started filling in doing Razorback baseball games on the radio, Dave Van Horn told me, and I was working for minor league baseball teams then, he said, we're a little different here in college. We coach them up here. And it seems to me that with the shift in how Major League Baseball is developing players, they're not necessarily going to be developing the younger players as much. It feels, Ted, and I wonder what you think, that Major League Baseball is almost ceding some of the player development for 18, 19, 20-year-olds to college baseball. Do you sense that?
I mean, I think there is something to that in a perfect world, they look at what the NFL has and they see that college teams are responsible for development of that age group. And that means that, they don't have to deal with it. They get it. And they might complain about, a quarterback not knowing how to read a defense, but they didn't have to deal with it for the last 3 years. So I think in some respect, there is some degree of, like, maybe the college environment is better. Look at all the success stories from college baseball. Look at how fast those guys can move through the minor leagues. But there also is a fair amount of major league teams have already tried to retool their developmental process. They've dipped into the college ranks more often for coaches. Pitching coach Wes Johnson, certainly an example of that, an extreme example, given that he went straight to the big leagues, but it's becoming more common for college coaches to get hired as minor league coaches. So they're trying to improve their own development, but there is just an acknowledgement that there is a really good thing going on in college baseball, and that they're very good at developing players. And with the decreased opportunities, more players are going to get pushed towards that system and will get developed in college now.
Yeah, well, I think, you can see that firsthand when you come here to Arkansas. If you get a chance, hopefully when the pandemic is done, to see, the indoor facilities that they have at Arkansas. There's no big league team that has that kind of stuff. So I think they have done some seeding of development to college teams. Ted, we got to end it there. We're up against a break. Appreciate your time. Hopefully we can do this again as college baseball really gets going. Thanks.
Absolutely. Happy to do it, guys.
Thank you.
You got it. That's Ted Cahill, national writer, Baseball America, with baseball season starting tomorrow. Yes.
Can't wait.
Hey, if you've got sleep apnea, don't forget, you need to be calling Dr. Bo Sparkman at Family Dental Care of Fort Smith, 479-785-1419. They can help you with a custom dental appliance that gets rid of your CPAP machine. And you hate that CPAP machine. Your wife does too, because she says she can't take the noise anymore. Got to clean it all the time. The thing's just overall uncomfortable. So call Dr. Bo Sparkman at Family Dental Care Fort Smith. Get rid of that CPAP, 479-785-1419. And that is Dr. Bo Sparkman, Family Dental Care Fort Smith. Wrapping up the show, halftime homework comes up next. What is Buster Posey doing by keeping his arm in shape throwing diapers?
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources, and I want to help you get a great deal on a great car. So I'm making it easy with prices up to $3,113 below retail on the best selection of Rath road ready vehicles we've had in months. These are late model, low mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs that have been handpicked and inspected in our Meineke Car Care Center. You just can't buy a better pre-owned vehicle. And right now you can save with prices up to $3,113 below retail. If you're waiting on your tax refund, my TaxMax program can help with that by getting you access to your money now. Worried about your credit? Don't be. My For the People credit approval process can get you approved and driving your nicer, newer car today. If you're not in the market right now, let us take care of the car you have in our Meineke Car Care Center, the home of half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Don't wait. Get the nicer, newer car you want today and save up to $3,113 at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
Standard Materials Group has immediate openings for ready-mix drivers in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you have a CDL license without an automatic restriction and want to be home every night, want to work with a company that offers great pay, benefits, and a great team environment with growth opportunities, apply today at jobs.crh.com. Again, that's jobs.crh.com. Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
This is Brett Good, former Razorback and Super Bowl champion with the Green Bay Packers. Everyone loves to be on a winning team. That is why I have joined Henderson Phillips Employer Solutions. Henderson Phillips can help you tackle all your employee benefit, health insurance, and staffing management solutions. Plus, I can help you with any commercial or personal insurance need. Come join my team at Henderson Phillips. Call me, Brett Good, at 479-651-2292. That's 651-2292.
Start your Saturday mornings with the Sipping Saturday Brunch menu at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Every Saturday from 10 till 2. Joe's Grill and Cantina is serving a brunch menu with breakfast burritos, breakfast frittatas, and many of your brunch favorites. Get your Saturday morning pick-me-up with mimosas, screwdrivers, and other cocktail favorites. It's the Saturday morning Sipping Brunch menu at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Every Saturday morning from 10 till 2 at Joe's Grill and Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
Bills, kids, school, toilet paper. Who is buying all the canned chickpeas? Delayed shipments, masks, pandemic, elections. You're on mute. Riots, air fryers, test results, streaming services, the playoffs, unfriended. You can turn it all off, you know, at least for a while. The rhythmic sound of your feet on the pavement, the sun peeking through the clouds on a quiet morning. Let us show you how to leave it all behind. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Do you need help with your next project? Metters Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Metters Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at metterslumber.com. Metters Lumber True Value.
Hertz Car Sales has been serving the River Valley for over 40 years and takes pride in offering exceptional service. Whether you're looking for a car, truck, crossover, or SUV, Hertz offers a big selection of the most popular brands. They're friendly, offer a no-pressure car shopping experience, and their vehicles are high quality and priced competitively. New inventory is arriving daily and trade-ins are always welcome. So make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard, give them a call at 783-1722, or check out their line of quality pre-owned vehicles at buyfromhertz.com.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life. In the day of the time, that's a mighty long time, but I'm here to tell you,
LaDasia Williams with a head fake. Works her way into the paint. Pull-up jumper stripped out of her hands by Aaron Barnum. Barnum driving all the way. Leaves it out for Slocum. Fakes the three. Swings it for Ramirez. Way out left side. Three's on the way by Ramirez. Another one. 11. Ramirez has 14.
Want to jump in the conversation with the guys? Call or text into halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and SmackDown.
We never heard about Arkansas women's basketball tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. That's what we're hoping, but nothing's been officially announced. Hopefully be able to get Ole Miss to travel here, but they're doing it by bus. So snow still on the roads, ice still on the roads, and things are still a little bit hairy between Oxford and Fayetteville. It is also hairy here in the final segment of halftime as we get into our halftime homework.
Kind of homework assignment? I have a tough assignment. I'm thinking we should talk about the homework assignment.
Dude, did you do all your homework last night?
I'm not doing it. This is hard.
You really did your homework, didn't you?
It's time for halftime homework.
What do you boys have for me today?
All right, I got a couple of things here. The first is, I don't know if you can't do this yet, but I'm going to assign somebody out there who loves the movie Silence of the Lambs. You're going to need to travel at some point in the next 2 years to Perryopolis, Pennsylvania, right outside Pittsburgh, and you'll have a chance to stay in a bed and breakfast, which is the original Buffalo Bills house.
Wow. Now, so if I see a van stopped on the side of the road that needs help, the guy needs help putting a couch in the back of it, should I stop before I get there or just keep driving?
I would say keep driving, Maddie. No doubt about it.
You need a little help there,
on
sir?
your back. Yeah.
Would you?
This house was sold at under $300,000 to a New York art director named Chris Rowan, and it is the same house that Buffalo Bill was featured in the movie, although the scenes from the torture basement with that well were filmed in a different spot, a different place. But the owner of the house is going to build a torture well so that people that stay in this bed and breakfast can get what he called the real Buffalo Bill experience, which honestly, when you know what Bill was doing, making a dress of human skin, I don't really want the real Buffalo Bill experience. But I think that would be kind of cool staying in that house, because that would just be incredibly creepy, and that's one of my favorite movies. All right, so I'm assigning that to somebody out there. I would assign that to you, SmackDown, but I don't think you've got the stomach for it.
Probably not. Actually, no, probably not. I know I don't.
Okay, so do you think you have the stomach for changing diapers?
Is that Buffalo Bill? What you
That
got?
was just a clip. Oh, she's a great big fat person.
Right, exactly, yeah, and the lotion and all of that.
That's
right.
the house, right?
SmackDown,
Yes.
do you think you have the stomach to change diapers at some point?
Yes, absolutely.
Good. Well, listen to Buster Posey, a San Francisco Giants catcher who opted out of the season last year, and he was speaking at the ways that he kept his arm healthy while he wasn't playing baseball. Get a load of this.
The older two are a big help, especially my daughter. My son he's more of like an entertainment piece for the babies. He'll make them laugh. He's not so much on changing diapers. So the fun thing with him is I'll change a diaper from a baby and ball it up real tight. He knows that I'm about to fire it at him, so he'll go running, and I've been keeping my arm in shape that way by firing diapers at him.
Firing diapers at his son, but a good reporter, SmackDown, does not let that go without a follow-up question.
The older two are a big help, especially my daughter.
That was the wrong one. Let me find the right one here, because you need the follow-up question.
The older two are
still the same thing. Goodness gracious. All right, well, I'll find the right one here. You had a question.
I've got lots of questions, because if he's rolling this thing up, if it's a used diaper.
It's loaded.
And he's rolling it up tight.
You have to load it up. You have to
roll
roll it
I
up
get
tight.
that. What happens to the
Well, you tape it up in a certain way that it doesn't ooze out.
Okay.
While
All
it's in-
right.
while
That
it's
was
being
my
projected.
big thing, because I know when you roll something up tight, like if you
roll a burrito up too tight,
yes, if you squeeze a burrito
the insides
too
are
tight
gonna
and the cheese
squirt
pops out.
It's all a matter of how you fold it, my friend.
Yes.
Proper folding means you can tighten that diaper as heavy as you want. But here's that follow-up question,
Okay.
and Buster really thinks that the weight is almost similar to the baseball.
Is diaper firing a different arm deliver? I mean, tell us a little bit more.
Spit it out, lady.
Well, you have to really make sure that you have the right weight of the diaper. So, depending on how well they've been feeding, that plays a lot into my accuracy, and if it's equivalent to the weight of a baseball. So, take all that into account. Type of formula they've got, and if they're eating baby food or not. And I've been pretty accurate.
So that means has he been weighing these diapers? Because
there's only one way to know that, because like if the diapers have to be a certain weight, We're not changing diapers very often.
Well, baseballs are about 5 ounces to 5 1/4 ounces.
Does he have like a baseball in one hand and the diaper in the other, trying to weigh like Indiana Jones?
Right.
Before
He needs the measure of justice. He needs the two ends of the scale done properly, so he really knows. But this got me thinking. I mean, like a baseball player changing diapers is not headline news. Certainly not in today's age. But, like 35 years ago, it would have been a little bit different. And it got me thinking about a famous movie from the 1980s. And I don't know. I think you've seen it, Maddie. I don't know if SmackDown has. 3 Men and a Baby.
Oh, I love it. And the sequel, 3 Men and a Little Lady.
Which actually was almost as good as the original.
You have Steve Guttenberg, Tom Selleck, and Ted Danson.
Right. Came out in, I think it was 1987 or 88. Really at the apex of these three guys' popularity. And here's a funny scene from that movie in which Guttenberg and Tom Selleck are trying to change a diaper.
Michael, just give me a little cotton. I don't need a package. I just need some cotton. Oh, no, wait. The wipies. Give me the cotton wipies. Oh, this is disgusting. It's all over. It's sticky, and we're going to need some kind of cleaning fluid to get it off. How about aftershave? Oh, come on, Michael. Just get me one of the diapers.
It's a great movie. I think you'd enjoy it. I think it plays to today, and it shows you just how awkward it feels the first time you try to change a diaper. It's going to get all over your hands. There's nothing you can do about it, SmackDown.
That's very similar to what they did like on early season of Full House when they were like washing her in the sink and everything.
Yeah. I'm curious about I'm still stuck on the balling up idea where nothing oozes out. That's stuck in my head right now.
It's all about proper tapage. You just have to. You'll get it down, SmackDown. Once eventually there's a baby SmackDown, you're going to get your whole process down to where you can do it almost with your eyes shut. I don't recommend that, but you could probably. It's like muscle memory. I'm going to guarantee you that you probably, as strong as you are, will be able to tighten that diaper with nothing coming out of it so easily and so tight that you could throw that thing probably 50 yards.
Ooh. All right.
You're not going to do cloth diapers?
But you got don't do the cloth diapers.
Because then they sit around in your house stinking up until they come pick
That's when the smell
them up.
really starts getting a little too much. And SmackDown. I think you need to watch that movie. And since you didn't do your homework last week,
I failed
and did not watch
Midnight
Madness, you've got a big weekend of movies to watch.
Yeah.
Okay. And you really do. I'm ashamed of you for not doing your homework. It's
sorry.
very Ty Richardson of you.
Don't compare me to Ty Richardson.
All right, back with you guys tomorrow. For Matty T and SmackDown, I'm Phil. Get up, get out, get better.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower.